And I think you can be totally honest even when you say that to the client. Say, listen, project out 6 months down the road. This is why I'm recommending this, because I don't want to come back and this doesn't work. I take personal responsibility for that, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it is the design, that I'm doing, even though it's what you want me to do.
Yeah.
And then I think when you say it like that and you already project it out, now the client can kind of put themselves in that spot and say, all right, wow, if this doesn't work out, it's kind of an I told you so situation, but we've already laid the groundwork that we know that we're on the same page here, and then they make the decision from there.
Because you do have the designers that don't care, and they're kind of just like, as you said, like, all right, this is what you want. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to give you exactly what you want.
Right.
I think most examples of good design, at least good design that I've seen, the designer is taking ownership of at least that part of it. Mm-hmm. So it's never just like, I'm going to give the client what they want. I'm going to give the client what they want in the best way possible with whatever influences I can put in place that kind of meet, again, a happy place between what I think works best for them and what they're actually asking for.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if you do something that you don't really love just because a client asked for it, your design tends to suffer, the project tends to suffer, and then no one wins.
Right. And it's funny because earlier we said, like, you need to explain why you're recommending this, but you also need to find out why the client is recommending their point of view, right? Because sometimes there's something behind it. Like you said, they may have more success than you actually know about, or they may have outside influences. Their boss or someone else is pushing them to really have this feature or this design, right? So as a salesperson, because at that point you are still a salesperson, is figuring out, okay, why do you really want this way? Do you know what I mean? And then sometimes you'll find an underlying reason that you're like, okay, we can still get there, but let's do it in a way that I think because of X, Y, and Z is going to be more effective or more efficient.
Yeah, I mean, it's we do discovery to figure out what the best design for any given target is. It's the same way when you're trying to sell yourself. You want to discover through questions, through conversations that you have with the client, where they're coming from, why they need this, why this feature is important to them, why they can't afford to move something back versus, moving something in front of it. This all kind of comes out in the way that you communicate and the questions that you ask. That's where you become, quote unquote, the best salesperson that you can possibly be, even as a designer, is to ask as many questions up front as you possibly can, understanding that there are questions that you don't know to ask in any given moment, but that will come up later on. The moment that you feel like, I got it, everything you said is totally into the mental Rolodex, we're good, I don't have to worry about anything else, let me just kind of get into my zone, is the moment that design is going to suck. Like, no matter what. Because when I say design is going to suck, it could look pretty, but if the design doesn't have a function, it sucks. If it's not hitting your target, it sucks. It does not matter what kind of elements. This shit could move and transform in a bunch of different ways. Sorry for cursing. I don't know if that's an issue. But again, if it doesn't hit your target, you haven't asked enough questions. You haven't discovered what you need to discover to actually add value to the client that you're working with as a designer.
Right.